Now, a really good friend of mine said, you can't think up a pergola. You can plan it down to the last bolt and washer, but at some point you got to bend your back, lift a hammer and get to work. And so we are with today. I've got a raised garden bed to build. I've been planning it and thinking about it for a long time, but as he said, there comes a point where I've got to bend me back and get to work. So behind me back here is the last of my retainer wall. And it's about 5 meters or so, 6 meters long. That's all coming out, and I'm going to be building another bay for my berries this time. And so without any further ado, let's get to work. Okay, we're a couple of minutes in now. I've cleared the rubbish that was in the corner here. This is going to be another triangular bed, so I'm at the corner and you can see the end of the other bed there. That's going to be the one side. I'm going to go across a bit of fencing and down here to where I am. So this is not going to be as deep as the others because there's only got 2 sleepers along here in this retainer wall, so I'm using those. I'm only going to be 2 sleepers deep. But now I've got to cut out all that grass and dig out all that dirt because I'm not using any of that in the final bed. Down by the fence there, I've got some pavers that I've got to come up to. That was for when we used to have a gate to the rear neighbour, but don't do that anymore. So let's continue. All right, I'm going to call it a day. Progress has been made. As you can see, there's one section of the retainer wall out, dug down to ground level. Now I reckon my wife's a qualified personal instructor and she'll agree with me that those 3 tools right there, the mattock, the shovel and the wheelbarrow, make for the greatest interval training session you're ever likely to do. So I'm going to go get cleaned up, have a drink, and then I'm going to have another go at this tomorrow. Okay, so it's the next day. I'm still feeling a little bit stiff and sore. I was a little bit concerned last night after I'd finished up, had a shower, and it was only until after I was getting dressed afterwards that I actually got my breath back from digging all this stuff out yesterday. That was a little concerning, but still alive, so we're going to keep going. Looking at it this morning, I actually made more progress than I thought I did yesterday, so that's good because that means less work today. So let's get back into it. Okay, it's lunchtime at day 2 and I've got the retainer wall out and the grass out. Let's flip this camera and you can see. Alright, so the retainer wall is gone, and just to get a bit of a feel for how this is going to look shape wise, I've got these little white stakes in to give a bit of an indicator as to how she's going to look. So a big triangle, kind of like the orchard up there, just to square off the yard. Now the only thing I haven't done is taken out this RSJ because that guy is concreted in and I'm not taking him out, and given how close he is to the end and the corner, I'm going to leave him there. Now for the fun part, I've got a few bricks out of lift and then all the grass to cut out because I don't want the grass coming up through the new bed. Stay tuned. Okay, quick update while I take a breather. All the grass and the pavers are now out. So all I've got to do now is bring this down to the same level. So it's probably a good hand width, maybe 20 centimeters, 10 to 20 centimeters worth of dirt that I've got to bring out in that corner to the fence line and bring that level all the way across, because that's about where the new bottom is, from where I dug the grass out. So that's going to be my new bottom. So I've got to take all that extra material out to bring it down to one level, which is good because that'll give me a nice decent depth to the bed. And then I've got the cardboard in there and the manure in there and the dirt on the top. This is actually going to work out really, really well. Stay tuned. Alright, I'm about done. My brain's starting to fog up, which is my body's way of telling me it's time to stop. I've moved about a ton and a half out of here. Let's have a look, see what I've done. You can see there's a good hand width deep that I've dropped that level. It's kind of level now. It ain't precise, it doesn't have to be. You can see what I've got to go. That's probably another couple of 100 kilos to come out there tomorrow. That won't take too long. After that, there's weed mat, formwork, and then concrete as we put up a wall to stop the weeds coming through. But that's me done for today. Stay tuned for tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day. I've got all the material that I wanted to extract out. So where you can see the tide line on the fence there, it's about where I'm going to bring the concrete to. So it's going to be consistent with the starting point there in the other bed, and it's going to give no chance for the weeds to come through and the grass, because one thing I did notice about this dirt is it might as well be sterile. The grass roots have sucked all the life out of it. My unqualified opinion is, what kind of wildlife do I see as I'm digging up? And I found one worm, a handful of ants, one nematode, and that was it. A couple of spiders, so there's nothing growing here. So that's why I wanted to dig it all out and replace it with some good stuff, including lots of worms. I'll be down to Bunnings and I'll buy probably a box of 500 or maybe even a box of 1,000 worms to drop in this lot, and we'll go from there. Stay tuned. Okay, dirt's out, formwork's in. Let's take a look. Real simple, real rudimentary. It's just some melamine I got down at Bunnings, some star droppers to keep it in place, because I just want a nice narrow concrete barrier there. So let's make concrete. Okay, 6 bags or 60 kilos of concrete later, I'm out of concrete and I'm out of energy, so I'm going to call it for a while, and I've got to get some more concrete and do something different because my back hurts. Stay tuned. Alright, end of another day, end of another batch of concrete. So you can see down there, I'm just going to have a quick flip there. Alright, so we have now done about 6 meters worth of concrete, which just turns into about 18 bags of concrete that I've used so far. And I've just got those last couple of meters setting now, and then I've just got to go across that bit there. I've got 6 bags, and I reckon I can make that last the 6 bags. So the concreting is almost done, thank goodness, and then I can get on to the next bit, which is going to be putting the retaining wall down where I've got those little white stakes. Stay tuned. Okay, quick update. Decent day on the tools today, so let's flip around and take a look. Alright, so concreting is now done. This is the bit that I did yesterday. That's just curing off now. It's a bit rough and ready and a little bit lower than I would like, but that's okay, it'll do. That's the back fence done, and I have now moved on to the sleepers. So I've recycled the 2 that were there, and I bought 2 new ones, and I've just put a coating of Merval stain on them to get the colour that I want. So they're now just drying, and once they are done, then I can start putting them in position, and then we'll get a real idea as to what this is going to look like. Stay tuned. Okay, I think I'm going to call it a day. Let's see what we've done. Alright, concrete was done this morning, and I've got the retainer wall in. Now it's not in hard against these stays, it's bolted in down that end, so it's not going anywhere. But once I've backfilled this, and that'll push up against the stays quite nicely. Now I've got weed mat there ready to go in. The only reason I'm not still going is I don't have any brads to attach the weed mat to the wood. So that's another trip to Bunnings, but it's after 5 o'clock, so they're shut. So I'm going to call it a day, but we are getting so close now. As you can see, it's really starting to take shape. So quite happy with how I spent the last few days. So far, we're getting closer. Latest update, I've got the retainer wall in, the concrete's done, the weed mat is now in. I've got a layer of cardboard in there. Let me just flip this camera. Alright, so you can see a bit better now. I've got all this cardboard in there, and then I'm just using the chunks of rock and concrete and stuff I've chucked in there just to act as a bit of a weight to hold the cardboard down, also to assist with the drainage when all the dirt and whatnot goes in on the top. I don't want the plants getting wet feet, and if they get too wet, so this will just help with that drainage. So next step is to go for a drive down to the Wolfenville racecourse, get I'm thinking probably about 200 litres or 20 bags or so horse manure. That'll be a couple of trips in the car, and dump that all in there, and then dirt. Alright, stay tuned. Alright, that's me done for the day. We got all of the horse manure in there. That's 210 litres of prime racing horse manure there, and got the bin there. That's going to be a compost bin. I've cut the bottom out of that so the worms can get in and out of that easily. After that is dirt, so I can't do that for a few days because I'm going back to work tomorrow, so it'll be later in the week when I get a chance to look at this again, so stay tuned till then. Alright, there's another productive day on the tools. Yesterday I got 1.5 tons of dirt delivered into the driveway, and today the heavens opened, so I've had a wet day shoveling dirt into the beds. I'll flip this camera, you can see all of it all. Alright, so I've got about 1 ton of dirt in there. I've still got some more dirt to move, but that's going to top up some of the other beds. Now I've also got some coffee grounds on the surface there, and all that white stuff is just crushed eggshells. We go through a lot of eggs from our chooks, and I've just crushed them up and scattered them over, and I'll sort of turn that in a bit, and then I'm just going to work out where I'm going to put my berries. I've got 4 plants to plant out. I'm going to put them along that back fence line, I reckon. And then I'm going to get some mulch in, get some irrigation going. But that's now full. It's now ready to plant. Stay tuned. Alright, I think I am done for the day. One of the interesting things about shifting dirt in the wet is that I don't have to worry about watering all that dirt in, because it was being watered in as I was putting it out there with the wheelbarrow, so everything I put in there is going to find moist soil that's full of nutrients. So I've got the berry bushes roughly where I want them. Let's just flip this camera again. Alright, I'm going to have to reshoot some of this. So okay, here's how things are going to look. I've got the nasturtium in the corner there to put off some of the unpleasant bugs and bring in the pollinators. I've got some strawberries there. I'm going to relocate. I'll probably take those out of those pots and put them in there. I've got a mulberry, a dwarf mulberry there. It's recommended by Mark over at Self-Sufficient Me. He suggested mulberries is a good berry to grow, so I'm going to take him at his word, give it a shot, and see what happens. Next to him, about halfway down between the fence posts, I'm going to put this guy. I can't remember what he is. I think he might be a raspberry. But I can't find the label, so I think he was a raspberry. I've had him a season or two, done very nicely in the pot, so I'm going to transplant him out about sort of there-ish, I guess, and see how he makes do with that. Next to that is going to be this guy. He is a thornless Chester blackberry. Again, I've had him a season or two. He's been waiting for a good spot to go into, so I'm going to put him down here next where the other fence post is. And then in the corner, where it's going to be really hard, I'm going to put this fella. He is a youngberry. I've never tasted him. We've had flowers occasionally, but never fruited. But he's always been stuck in a pot or in really garbage soil. So he's going to take the challenging spot right in the corner there. And probably the darkest spot, certainly through the winter. But he's a tough old boy, and we'll see what he does. But I think they're all going to grow out from the fence. And I think with all that quality, nutritious dirt in there, and all the manure and the coffee grounds and the eggshells and stuff, it's probably about as good as it's going to get, so I'm expecting great things from that. This ugly looking monstrosity is a very dirty rubbish bin that we converted into an in-ground compost. So it hasn't been fully loaded yet. All I've got in there is some more eggshells, some coffee grounds, a bit of the dirt, and I think we've got some horse manure in there bleeding in from the sides. Basically that's just a bin that I cut the bottom and the sides out of right at the base, so there's a spot there for worms and bugs to go in, and whatever they take with them out into the bed. So I've got a number of these, and they work pretty well. So looking forward to getting that fully loaded and see what this does. I have high hopes for this bed. It's been a couple of weeks making this. Been a bit of a labour of love, but I am very happy with the result. So stay tuned. Probably we'll see what happens after I've got all of the irrigation in and the mulch in, because I've got to get a lot of that in, and then this will all be planted out, all this lot planted out, and we shall see. But we're getting close. We are definitely getting closer. Stay tuned. And that is it done. Spend the morning, got the mulch in, I've transferred all the berries in, you can see that now. Got the strawberries in, put all that mulch on the top, and it was bucketing down with rain while I was doing that, and then just as I finished, the clouds cleared and the sun came out. So there's a touch of irony for you. Anyway, let's flip this camera, you can have a closer look. Okay, so these are the strawberries that are in those planters. Interesting thing, I had to actually pull them out from inside the pot because I couldn't pull them out through the holes of the planter, which I thought was interesting. Alright, there's mulberry. Let's see what he does. And I was right, this one was a strawberry. I found the little tag in the pot after I'd sort of unearthed all the rubbish that was on the top of the pot. So that's interesting. Let's see what he does. And then we have our thornless blackberry there. Let's see how he gets on. Slight change of plans with the youngberry. I found his tag too when I was digging him out. And we decided to move him just a bit into a slightly different spot so that he can get more sun. So, but there's like half a bag of mulch in there, so I'm expecting good things. I want to trap all that moisture that we've had over the last couple of days now, so I was pretty generous with the mulch, and I want to trap all that now that the sun's coming. We're going to get proper Adelaide summer and bake the bloody Jesus out of this, so I want to preserve as much of that moisture as I can. So that's how you spend a week or so when you're on holiday. Catch you later. Righto, that's enough about that. You know the drill. Hit the subscribe button and become part of our thriving community. Of course, if you like my videos, give them the big thumbs up and share them if you want, as that helps the channel out. And also hit the bell to get notified when I put up new content. Okay, that's all from me, so stay healthy, keep thinking. As my mum would say, be good, and if you can't be good at it. I'll see you next time.